The man rose from a pile of corpses, an arrow sticking out of his chest, but the arrow was soft to fake. That was his secret to surviving every battle. As a battle-hardened veteran, he skillfully scavenged supplies from the dead, and before long, his cart was full. Suddenly, he spotted two enemy generals locked in fierce combat. Instead of intervening, he stood back and watched in silence. Only when one of them finally fell did he step forward excitedly, tying up the surviving young general and throwing him onto his cart. If he could deliver the captive back home, he'd be rewarded with 5 acres of fertile land and freedom from conscription. A peaceful life at last, but his path was blocked by a massive boulder. As he bent down to move it, a deserter leapt out from the shadows and attacked. The old soldier fought back desperately, but was struck down by a single slash. Moments later, guilt consumed the deserter. He returned to the battlefield, hoping to help, only to be mistaken for a traitor and cut down on the spot by the wounded general. Just as the general was breathing his last, the veteran stood up again. He had survived once more, his fake blood fooling everyone. Stunned, the general begged him to end his suffering. The old soldier handed him a dagger, telling him to do it himself. But when the general plunged it in, a spring popped out. The blade was a trick. Helpless, the old soldier sighed and continued his journey with the young captive in tow. Along the way, they passed through a town ravaged by war and came across a starving girl. Pity moved him, and he shared his last scraps of food. Once fed, the girl began to dance with joy. For a brief moment, the old soldier felt peace and warmth again. But when he woke the next morning, the girl, his supplies, and even his horse were gone. Despair set in, but he hoisted the young general onto his back and kept pulling the empty cart forward. Despite everything, he held onto a shred of kindness, even sharing food with beggars along the road. But misfortune wasn't done with him yet. They wandered into a camp of refugees, were beaten and robbed, their cart taken away. He was relieved the crowd hadn't recognized the captive, but then, the young general suddenly turned on him, grabbing him by the throat and slamming him to the ground. Just as things turned dire, a starving bear burst onto the scene. Thinking fast, the old soldier tossed his last half of a biscuit at it. The bear ate it and lumbered away. The veteran seized the moment, counterattacked, and finally subdued the young general.